Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 9. I have the hashtag Run302 podcast. This is Committed Part 2. Like I said, we're going to have 5 different parts of this. This is Part 2. Last week, of course, we had Tyrese Fortune Jr. This week, we got, in my opinion, top 3 or 4 shooter in the state of Delaware, Gage Winter-Moyer. He was right around 2, averaging about 2 3-pointers a game for us. Came real late. We had already started our off-season, conditioning and workouts and stuff like that. Came in November. And definitely glad that we had him and we were able to pick him up and he joined to the team. Gage, how you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. You had a big announcement this week. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so I committed to Word of Life basketball in Pottersville, New York. I'm really excited. I love the coaches there. I love the players, so I'm looking forward to it a lot for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get a chance to go, but I was looking online, look at their facilities, looked at their campus. Looks like it's right on a river or a lake or something like that. It's just beautiful, beautiful campus.
Yeah. It was real weird. It's like the lake was frozen over. Like it's nothing you see in Delaware, so it's definitely different. The snow and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. And of course the facility. They have 2 facilities actually, and the one that they use for their games nowadays, I understand, is pretty much new, like very, very new.
yeah, it's very brand new. It's big. The stadium's huge in there. It's crazy, but they're real nice facilities, and even the older court too. It's still like nice to go back and just like kind of see like, okay, like this is where they all started, and it's a real nice court in there too. So
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you give us a little background on yourself, prior to Cross Christian?
okay, so I started at Delmar High School, and I've been there since 7th grade. Played basketball every year there, and then it was about my sophomore year when I first like really wanted to start playing basketball seriously and realized I could be a collegiate athlete in that sport as well. So that was a big step for me. And where I was at, I mean, we were a good team. My freshman year, I played JV, and I enjoyed the coach there. And then my sophomore year, the COVID year, we only had a varsity, so I was 13th guy on the bench, and the last 7 games I was a starter. So it was all about working hard for me, and that was the big thing that year. And then my junior year, we were second, third round in playoffs. We lost in playoffs. It was a good year. That was probably our best team. And then my senior year, I ended up here. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell a story that nobody else knows besides Tyrese. So, you go ahead and contacted us late October. Of course, practice starts November. Like I said, we had already started our off-season conditioning, off-season workouts, all those things. So you came toward the school. I liked you. Obviously, I got a good vibe. Your mom was there. Great mom, great person as well. Good, very supportive. It was a good fit and all. But like as a coach, you bring a kid in a month after you've already started your workouts and stuff. You want to make sure what's good for the program too. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we had 7. So you would have been number 8. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of guys, and everybody's here to try to play so they can get seen. So, I was going back and forth, and I was like, is it really best for the team to add a guy, this late? And, we've already started working out and stuff. So I called Tyrese Fortune. I'm like, Tyrese, I respect your basketball opinion. You've seen him play, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, is he worth it? I was like, you think we should add him? And he's like, yes, coach. He's like, he can shoot the ball. He's like, he moves well without the ball. He understands basketball. He has a very high basketball IQ. He's like, yes, he's going to help us. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the first practice we had, you probably shot 85% from the three-point line. I don't think you missed for the first hour and a half of practice. So, I about midway through the practice, I look at Tyrese, I nod my head, and I'm like, okay. I'm glad I took your opinion on that one. And, of course, the rest is history. But what specifically, led you to, like you said, you overall you had a pretty decent experience at Delmar. What led you overall to decide to, I'm going to leave my friends there, make that big jump, leave my friends, everything I've known basically my whole high school career since 7th grade, and take this jump here?
So my biggest thing was I always knew I knew I wanted to play in college, and I knew that I had skills and the ability to do it. but I just didn't have someone in my corner to defend me. And you know, with a long talk with different people and figuring out what I wanted to do, and I talked to you and Mr. Don, of course. And I loved y'all. Y'all were the best coaches I could have had. It was great. And basically, I bet on myself, like you say all the time. I took a risk, and it got me where I am today. And every day, I thank you guys every day for it. And so that's the biggest thing, was betting on myself, and that's where I am today. So
Yeah, absolutely. And, it has, you know, nobody, I hate the term self-made. Like, I just hate it, because there's not a person in America that is where they are right now without some kind of help. There's somebody in their corner rooting them on. It could be the smallest thing or it could be the biggest thing, but no one has gotten where they are today without some kind of help, and myself included, Mr. Poole, it doesn't matter. Nobody has gotten where they are, and you just need the right people in your corner. And, like I said on my Twitter post, you had it in you all along. You just needed the right people in your corner that believed in you through the highs and the downs. Shooting the ball is a fickle beast there. There's games where, you shot, beginning of the year, you started, I think you hit 16 threes in the first 3 games. Yeah. Then you went through a little cold slump, but, you need to know that, you got a coach that believes in you and isn't going to, stop playing you, and is going to keep telling you to shoot that ball, because shoot or shoot, like I always say.
100%.
So what's the best team you think we played against this year?
Well, I mean, obviously, like Tyrese said the last video, I mean, Phelps is the big one.
Yeah.
But I think personally, I think Olympus was a big school for us that we
very
played
good.
against. They were fast, they were athletic. It was a long game for us, having such short guys, or not short guys, but short on guys. I meant to say. But yeah, they were like one of the most athletic teams I think we played all year, especially, getting on the rim or shooting the ball, anything, getting to the rim. It didn't matter. They were doing it all. So
yeah, absolutely. They shoot the ball at a very high level. And of course, they had 2 guys that were 2024s. So they got 1 more year left of high school, and they had both of those guys had offers to Old Dominion, which is the D1 school. So that tells you what you need to know there. Sure. To have D1 offers as a 2024, just says a lot. Who do you think the best player that we played against?
That's rough, man. There's so many good ones, Like it's really hard. Like I could obviously say that, like the Phelps kid, the 2025.
Yep.
Yeah, he's too good. He's good.
Yeah, I think it's between him and then the 2024 from Olympus, the wing. He had like 36 points.
He was shoot. So athletic too.
He had 7-8 threes, and then he had caught like 2 or 3 oops. So he had a complete game himself.
He was bouncy too. It was crazy.
Yep. So you playing, 3 years at the DIAA level, and then playing, here. Obviously, scheduling wise, we didn't do any scrimmages or anything. So the kind of way I scheduled was we start off a little slow, like as far as competition goes, and then we moved our way up a little bit, trying to have those be our scrimmages, kind of for better or worse or whatever, and then move up. How do you compare the level of competition we played versus DIAA?
Phew, I mean, the change in pace in the game is outrageous. Like it's a whole different world. Like, and not only that, I mean, but you catch up with it too. Like that's the big thing. Is it makes us so much better because we're playing people that we're gonna play in college. So but DIAA is still good comp. Like don't get me wrong. Like the people in there are good. I respect all those guys. They all play basketball. They all hoop. But it's just a different world outside of Delaware, and people don't know that obviously. But it's crazy. It's crazy the level of competition difference that out of Delaware than in Delaware. But
yeah, absolutely. I think the best way to say it would be is like, in this year's DIAA playoffs kind of showed that as well. Is we kind of know there's a divide between the up north and there's a lower south team, and it's like playing. Like our schedule was, we played like an up north team almost every night.
Yeah.
And I would say the biggest difference between the level we play at and the level of the IAA is 2 things: size speed.
Yeah.
Those are the two differences: size and speed. Every player, every team we played had a 6'7" kid, and everybody was jumping out of the gym. Everybody was dunking in warm ups.
He was not a big.
No.
He was not a big either. That's
Yeah.
the crazy thing. He was a wing, an athletic wing that could shoot, and that's every team. You don't see that in DIA. Those are big men.
Yep.
And there's only one on every team pretty much, so it's crazy.
Exactly. But we'll go ahead and take a break. We're at our first break there. We'll give you a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the hashtag Run 302 podcast. Once again, this is season 1, episode 9, Committed, part 2. Here with Gage Wintermoyer, who just recently committed to Word of Life in New York. Very excited about that. So right before we left, we talked about the DIA competition versus who we play. Give your best memory of the season, something that you're gonna, look back on in 10, 15, 20 years and enjoy still, like thinking about it, talking about it.
There's so many memories that we could say, from being on the court to bus rides home to being at practice. It's just so much. I would say my best memory. I would say those van rides where we're either making fun of each other or laughing at each other or something. Those are the best moments ever, because that's what makes it a brotherhood around here and a family. So
Yeah.
that was the big thing about coming here, is we're all family, and no matter who you are or what you look like, we're all family.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was the bus rides were interesting for sure, because I'd be sitting in the front, obviously, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the ride, the group chat would start blowing up. My phone would start blowing up. I'd open it, and then people were taking pictures of people sleeping with their mouths open, knocked out all over the place. That was the funniest one.
I think I always got caught. It was always
you
me,
got
I'm
caught a
pretty
few
sure.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was always me.
Yeah, matter of fact, there was one where our eighth grader on the team, Landon, fell asleep on your shoulder, and you were knocked out too. That was the funniest. That was the most funny one.
Landon's my son, man. That's my son.
Yeah, and like you said, it's we had 3 or 4 guys that were freshmen or eighth grader on the team as well that aren't quite ready to play the level that we play at. But everybody on the team took them in like a family, took them in like older brother, younger brother kind of thing. There was some little hazing here and there, like I said, like the old brother, young brother relationship. But for the most part, you guys took care of them. You watched out for them, and vice versa. They helped you guys out, getting water for you on the bench, all those kind of things.
Those are the kind of guys you make relationships with, the younger guys who you prepare to, when they get older, they can take your spot. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing there, too.
Yep, absolutely. What do you think the worst or toughest memory for you of the season?
Sure. I mean, well, I would say there's 2 for me, because with that Rosedale championship game, that was a big one. That was a rough moment on the ride home. I mean, that's a game we should have won.
Yep,
I mean,
agreed.
But and then those, I had like a 2 to 3 week span where I just wasn't hitting threes like that and that's a lot to go through as a player,
Yeah.
But with everybody on the team, they all had confidence in me, and you too, you and everybody. So I mean, that's the biggest thing, is having people around you that are confident in you. So
yeah, absolutely. Because if you're somebody, shooting, this is true for all sports, but I would say basketball, in my opinion, this is the most true for basketball. Is a confidence game. Mm-hmm. As soon as your confidence goes in basketball, you're done. If the confidence isn't there, you're done. That's it. So you go through those streaks, like you said. I remember that 1 to 2 week span you're talking about. Obviously you were upset with your performance a little bit, inside. But if you don't have the people that are picking up, still giving you those extra passes, still giving you those looks, still telling you to hit that shot, still telling you to shoot that shot, it makes it worse. It compiles it. But everybody was very supportive. Everybody was like, "Hey, shoot or shoot, keep shooting that thing. It's gonna start falling again," and it did. Mm-hmm. And the rest is history. What's something you'll never forget, good or bad?
Sure. What's something I'll never forget? I would just say like all the love that was shown right away, like from the first time walking in the doors, and still to the last time walking out the doors. The love is crazy from everybody in the school, like from the smallest kids to the oldest. It doesn't matter. It's all here. It's all a family.
Well, it's different,
It
because you
is.
got you come from Del Mar, who probably has 800 to 1,000 kids just in the high school,
Yeah.
9 through 12, to here that we have 110 from K through 12. Everybody knows everybody. You got little kids come up to you, say, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?"
Yeah.
That they look up to you, those kind of things. And like you said, we have, me and you text back and forth a lot, all those kind of things, and I can have those relationships because I don't have 15 to 20 kids to worry about. I have 5 to 10 to worry about. It makes it a lot easier, and I can pay more attention. Email coaches individually for you, text coaches individually for you, because I don't have so many people to worry about. I only have 5 to 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the bond side of things with the whole school and everything, it's just a family. I mean, it's a family outlook on everything, and no matter and it's crazy because once one person finds out one thing, the whole school's finding out for sure. So that's a big thing too. But it's a family.
I was
outlook on everything.
surprised that you didn't say your step back 3 on the Duke,
Oh,
guy
the
from
Phelps
Phelps.
guy?
Yeah.
I didn't want to overuse it. You know what I mean? I didn't. I feel like that's used a lot. I
Yeah.
tell a lot of people. But,
So, if there was anything, is there anything you would have done differently about this year?
I don't know. I really don't, because if I'm looking at it now, I'm where I wanted to be from day one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think there's really anything I would have done differently, school-wise or basketball-wise either. I mean, I think I did everything I needed to. I worked hard. I was in here day in, day out working, and I mean, it got me where I am today. So
Yep,
I don't
absolutely.
change
And
anything.
I think you can attest to it's different here. Like I said, I harp on you guys constantly about the GPA. Obviously, probably if you knew what you knew now, going back to your freshman sophomore year, you probably would have cracked down a little bit harder in the
Oh, yeah,
classroom, knowing what you
100%.
know now. But like I said, I was like that as well. I was like that as well. I think everybody, at least for 1 year, that freshman year or something, we all have that 1 year we kind of slip up a little bit, and don't take it as seriously as we probably should, because we don't realize those 4 or 5 years go by just like that. This season went by just like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember packing up jerseys when I started getting the jerseys back from you guys, and I was looking on there. I'm just like, felt like just yesterday I was handing out the jerseys. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting too. That you came here, with another Del Mar kid. Trevor,
My brother.
TJ Gibson. Yeah. And you guys went on that trip together to Word of Life, and he actually got offered as well. We don't know where he's going to end up, but it would be an interesting story if he decides to commit there too, and you guys end up playing in college together too.
Yeah, them Del Mar boys up in New York, they don't want that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine what's going to be going on in
The stories will be crazy. Don't
yeah,
worry.
what's going on in those those dorms, and those courts too. But two on two with the Del Mar boys up in New York, pick up basketball. Is there anything you could say to somebody that has heard about the school, they're kind of interested in coming here, but for whatever reason, not scared, but like for whatever the reason, the outside noise, themselves personally, whatever the reason, they're scared to. I said scared anyway. Not scared, but like they're 50-50. They're on the fence about taking that jump or just staying put where they're at.
Undecided. Yeah, I got you. So I would say if you're looking to make that jump and you want to play in college and your coach or your school doesn't want to help you out or they're not in your corner, this is your place right here. As long as you meet our Coach AJ's needs and what he wants in a player, then he's going to support you through and through, no matter what the circumstances are and all that. So I would say if there's any doubts in your mind, take a look for yourself. I mean, Coach AJ will do a visit with you if you have any doubts. I mean, he'll talk to you. It don't matter. That's what I mean. My mom, she was undecided too, and you came here and we had her signing by the end of the trip. So I mean, it was, it's crazy, but.
And it is a big risk. It's a big jump. I tell kids all the time, it's a big thing. But it's your future at the end of the day. Like when we had that conversation, you came and you were like, oh, I'm leaving all my friends, all those stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it because I did it too. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, your future, you're the one that has to, live with your future 10 to 15 years down the road, not your friends. And that's just the truth. You have to live with that. And I think it worked out pretty good for you, if I do say so myself.
I mean, I was in that situation. I had a starting spot at Del Mar. I had no issues. I mean, I could have stayed there my senior year, and
yeah, I would say out of people I hear, you were actually in a pretty good situation where you were anyway. Like you said, at the end of the day, you knew you were going to start. You would have probably, to be honest with you, if you would have stayed at Del Mar, you probably would have averaged more points a game than you did with us.
Yeah.
Because one, you would have probably been, took more shots, and two, like I said, the competition was a little different.
way lower, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you were able to come here and kind of play the role that you're going to play at the next level.
Yeah.
And we were able to put that on film and sell that. Like, hey, he's going to be a guy that comes in and hits shots for you. And everybody, every team, the way basketball is today, every team needs a guy that they can rely on that can shoot, in the high 30s, 40% from three. That's just the way basketball is today. You have to be able to shoot the ball.
That was the big thing about our team is we knew our roles, but at the same time sometimes we didn't want to play them. Sometimes we got out of character, but I mean that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? So
and it's for the most part is like you said, most of the time I would say about 90% of the time we played the way we needed to play.
Yeah,
but you have 5 guys that all came here. They all have 1 year left to show what they can show. They all want their offer. And there's a lot of ways it could go bad, which again, in the beginning of the episode, I talked about wanting to, deciding if I wanted to bring you in or not, is it could go bad because you have 5 or 6 guys that all are here to play. They're all here to showcase what they can do. They're all here trying to get their own offer. But what I think every team that plays here, and this team included, and last year's team, whatever, is you need each other to get where you need to go.
100%. It's bigger than one person.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. If we all eat in season, at the end of the year, you all eat with, your offers and your scholarships and all those kind of things. So we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back with the final segment. Welcome back to the #Run302 podcast, Season 1, Episode 9. This is Committed Part 2 with Gage Wintermoyer. Right before we went to break, we talked about the commitment that comes with this. If somebody is on the fence about coming here, what they should or shouldn't do, and I think it just like I said, it comes down to all about what you view your life as. At the end of the day, you made a ton of sacrifices. Gave up what you had at Del Mar, your friends, being close to your family, graduating with your friends and all those stuff, but. At the end of the day, your real friends aren't going to care. Your real friends are always going to be in your corner at the end of the day, cheering you on, hoping the best for you. And like I said, you came away with what you wanted, chance to continue to play basketball, continue your education, and just move on from there.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I mean, my friends definitely had my back 100%. I mean, they were here every home game, and they even came to some away ones too. And so shout out to them for real, because they really got me through it the most. Because I mean, you got to have your real family behind you to make a new family. You know what I mean? Yep. So that was the biggest thing. And shout out to them because they've been with me since day one. So I appreciate them the most for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that. Like I said, at the end of the day, 10, 15 years from now, you're the one that has to live your life. Because, like for me, example, I left my school, my junior year and transferred to a whole nother state. Like, it's a whole different ballgame. It's not even like I transferred, like, you're 30 minutes from your old school. I transferred 2.5 hours from my old school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I had 5 or 6 guys, 5 or 6 friends that to this day I still talk to. It didn't affect our friendship at all. Like, we're still as tight as can be. Yeah. And like I said, at the end of the day, when they're really your friends, they say every 6 or 7 years you lose 3 or 4 friends or whatever. The true ones will always be there, no matter what, supporting you.
100%.
And vice versa. Obviously, it goes both ways. You support them back as well. Yeah. Any kind of closing remarks you got? Anything you want to leave off on?
I would say
it's your show. Anything? This is your show. This is your episode. This is the Gage Wintermoyer show.
It should be a lot longer. No, but anyone who's looking to play college basketball and your coach isn't defending you, it's not in your corner, or your team doesn't want you there or whatever, Cross is the place for you. Coach AJ will be behind you 100% no matter what it is. And, a big thing is always betting on yourself. I mean, Coach AJ, you preach that 24/7. We hear it all the time. So
You're probably sick of me saying it.
yeah, well, I mean, the most I think I needed to hear it the most. You know, I mean, from day one, I've been the little guy.
Yep.
So even here, you see in the team picture or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
you see, I mean, the people we play. I mean, you were probably the smallest kid on the court every time you stepped on the court.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you shoot the ball, you shoot the ball. If you can hoop, you can hoop.
Hard over height.
Yeah, whatever the case may be is. And you know, like you say all the time, I support you guys. I tell you guys I love you all the time. You know, I'm not for everybody. You know, there's definitely people I butt heads with at the end of the day too. But if you're doing the right things, if you're doing your part, you know, if you're willing to run through a brick wall for me, if you're willing to run through a brick wall for our team, I'm going to run through a brick wall for you right back.
100%.
And you know, that's just the way it is. And you know, maybe I don't know. You know, it's maybe my way is not always the best way. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you know, I've been there. I've played in college myself. I've seen it. I've been on state championship teams. So, you know, I see a way of doing things, and it's a way that's worked in the past, and that's the way I do it. Obviously, I always want to grow and add on to myself as a coach and a person too. But you know, the greatest compliment I'll ever get is that, you know, my players know that I love them, and my players know that I support them, and that's all that matters to me.
I mean, a big thing for me, you can look at it like this. I was at Del Mar for 3 years, and I didn't have an offer to show for it. I mean, none. And I come here for 1 year, and look where I'm at now. I mean, that's all I needed to see. You know what I mean? Yep. So
and you had a couple other schools that kind of, you know, were there. Had we pursued it more ourselves, you would have probably gotten offers from them as well.
100% for sure.
But we kind of put our heads together and we're like, that's not really what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So we moved on from that, and you know, God has a plan. And I think that, you know, God's plan was for you to come here, play 1 year, ball out, and go to Word of Life. And
he worked for sure.
See what the next chapter is after that. But
100%. Yeah.
Like I said, it's continuing. So, anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I think that's it. I think I'm
all right. So we're gonna wrap this up. Like I said, top 3 or 4 shooter in the state of Delaware, no question in my mind. Very high, you know, high character kid, high motor, took charges, dove on the floor, winner. You know, that's one word I would describe Gage with is winner. You know, I'm very humbled whenever somebody, and his mom too, you know, puts their trust in me for the future of their kid. Now, obviously, you got to go out there and do it then. But it's a humbling experience.
That's the easy part, though.
Yeah.
Going out there to do it.
Going out and do it. But with that being said, you know, this was season 1, episode 9, committed part 2. We are going to have 5, so there's 3 more parts to this. You know, but with that being said, we're going to take a little break from this, waiting for our next commitment. So season 1, episode 10, we're going to do season in review. So we're going to go through, you know, each game, you know, kind of the highs and the lows of the season. We're going to go through the roster, look at what all the players kind of averaged, you know, their impact they made, their best games, you know, those kind of things. So that's going to be next week. We're going to talk about a year in review. And until then, we'll see you then.